Hardcore Lies.
Hey guys, Rod from Georgia here with you. It is week 340 and man, time just keeps on pushing us forward, doesn't it? I am your Wednesday night host here at BodyBags, and another fun week is upon us. And this week, I give you not one but two reviews, starting with this one. I'll be filling in for Corey for his Tuesday review. And so I bring you, it's a film that I've wanted to review for a long time. It's one of those things that just, you see it right here, it's one of those films that just sticks with you, you know, from your childhood moving forward, and being a kid of the 80s. And well, anyways, let me just introduce this thing. Galaxy of Terror, a Roger Corman film from 1981. Doesn't really seem like it should be all the way back from 81, but it is. It's a Bruce D. Clark film, and this is the Scream Factory. Scream Factory put this out here. Hopefully there's no glare or anything. But this is an outstanding release of a film that, quite frankly, some would argue probably doesn't even deserve a release like this. It is part of Corman's cult classics. I think Humanoids from Deep is another, and there's probably a lot others. But, I mean, you know, crazy, of course, the original artwork. This is the artwork I grew up with as a kid. I would have caught this late at night on HBO, probably in the middle of the night. And back in the days of an old 25-inch console, right? Well removed from today, right? But reversible cover art inside, I have to just say, comes even with a little book. And I checked just a minute ago, and this movie still can be found for about $20. You can get this. So you get this small little book, reversible cover art, as I said, cast, I think, director commentary, an incredibly epic making of the film, multi-part segment that is really cool. Watched that last night, and man, just a lot of stuff. Trailers. I don't think there's radio spots, but trailers, and you could see. I mean, just a great release for an older Roger Corman film. Of course, maybe more than anything, this film is remembered for the infamous maggot scene, right? For those of you familiar, and if you're not familiar, well, maybe by the end of this you will be. So really what you have here going, this is again a Bruce D. Clark film. A couple notable things, but let me just say this, basically the story here is you've got sort of a weird setup in the very beginning. You've got a spaceship that has landed on this desolate planet, Morganthus. I think that's how you say it. And we catch up as the last remaining survivor is killed off. Then you jump to a little meeting between this game being played. I don't know, it sort of introduces the themes of fate and destiny, and sort of a metaphysical, a lot of themes, fear and whatnot. But so you get this this figure playing this game against what we'll come to know as the Master, and through this little meeting of the minds, it comes to the attention that this ship has that we had just seen a minute ago is stranded on this planet. It's been lost, and so the Master decides right then we need to send a rescue team. The course, you know, from that point on, he's working from ulterior motives. The crew that gets sent out to try to rescue this wayward ship that's crashed, not having any clue what they're, you know, basically flying into, is made up of a few notable characters. You get Robert Englund is in here, Sid Haig is in here, Ray Walston, of course, remember Fast Times at Ridgemont High, right, as the teacher. Spicoli, yeah, it's starting to come back now. But a great, nicey little cast. And once they arrive at the planet, then they catch up with the remains of those who were killed in the other ship. And then in their exploration of the planet, they come upon this pyramid structure, which plays into sort of the ulterior motives of the Master, who really wants to see this crew go through the pyramid. It's we find out through dialogue and whatnot that this thing was placed there by another race of beings as a means of testing fear. And creating a sort of an arena for people or whomever stumbles on it to be able to work out their inner demons and fears. And if you can't, well, you die. And so he's got some ulterior motives. Basically, this crew is basically just dropped in there. And, I think the master sort of hopes at least one or two in there will make it through in the end. And the end has it's pretty interesting. But as the crew begins to be exposed by their inner demons and nightmares, we become exposed to some really kind of neat things. Now, this is a Roger Corman film, of course, and it's a low budget. It's made to be an Alien ripoff, but it does a really good job of just being sort of its own little thing. I mean, the planet, we're sort of reminded by Planet of the Vampires and Alien, the desolate world that they land on initially and find the derelict craft. It is a desolate world, but it becomes very apparent real quick that it is a junkyard of ships throughout time, and of those who have gone through this pyramid structure and been tested, right? But probably most likely most people who land there have no idea what they're getting themselves into. And so as they become exposed to their own inner demons, the death sequences become pretty intriguing and pretty delightful, actually. Especially Sid Haig. Now, he plays an interesting character that I think he has one line of dialogue in the entire thing, and he didn't even want to say that line of dialogue. He wanted his character to be completely mute. He just thought it went better with the character. So he won most of the war with that. And of course, the line he does give, he just kind of blushes, puts his head down every time he's reminded of it. It's sort of a cheesy line. Robert Englund plays a fascinating character that ultimately will be put against his own alter ego, sort of. You've got those who are afraid and freaked out of other alien life forms and creatures, the unknown. We have one gal who's afraid of sex, and this is the infamous maggot scene. So, I mean, it is it's a movie that really is remembered as just being its own unique sort of cult classic. It's sort of, I don't know, it's not easily just thrown into the Alien ripoffs. It's definitely worthy of a look-see, right? And it's also known for the amount of people who worked, whether visually, special effects and whatnot, cinematography. He'll go on, the cinematographer will go on to direct, or not direct, but shoot the first two Nightmare on Elm Street films. You got James Cameron on production designer and second unit director. Of course, we know the world, he'll go off and do. Tony Randall's in the visual effects department. Of course, Hellbound, Hellraiser 2. I mean, there's no end to the amount of talent that just gets groomed up under Corman and then goes out and does their own stuff. And so it's pretty amazing. I dare say, if you've never seen this movie, it is definitely, I think, worth the pickup, quite frankly. I think it's worth the pickup, but it's definitely worth searching out and checking out, especially if you're intrigued by anything that I would have said, be it story, just those who come out of here and go on to do other things. You get a chance to see their work, their craft as it begins to develop under a low-budget Roger Corman effort. And really, the movie, I think, outlasted even itself. I mean, again, a lot of rip-off films, unless you're like really in, like some of us are, they just get tossed by the wayside and they're forgotten about. But when you get a Scream factory release like this, and the amount of stuff that they put into it, it just shows that this film has not been forgotten, and it does have a following. And it's more than just riding the coattails of Alien, although Corman, we know, will ride the coattails of both Jaws and Alien. But as he says in one of the interviews, he was just sort of trying to redefine what he had already been doing before Jaws exploded on the scene. And so he was just trying to keep his company and keep himself in work. So it's not really just a matter of ripping off as it is, of redefining yourself in light of just your new environment that you got to work out of. So, it's interesting to go back and look at some of these movies like Galaxy of Terror, especially if you want to go back and see some earlier work by Englund pre-Nightmare on Elm Street. Sid Haig, of course, fresh off his Spider Baby. And Some good stuff, man. Just the production design, the sets, the amount for 700,000, the amount of what you get out of this for the money and the ingenuity of James Cameron and everyone else who had their hands on this it's amazing. And so check it out, Galaxy of Terror. So on Tuesday, Corey's regular day, I give you a Roger Corman film, Galaxy of Terror, directed by Bruce D. Clark. And man, it is a smorgasbord of just great things to come out of 81 forward. Man, enjoy the rest of your week. I'll be with you again tomorrow on Wednesday as I bring you your regular scheduled review. As always, man, go Bills.